or have you ever experienced out of state them not doing a line of credit on a property if you don't live there in that community?
No.
Okay.
That's the difference between a HELOC and a line of credit.
Well, that's what I experienced. I'm pretty sure I sent a line of credit to the banker, but I experienced that in Michigan with one of them. And so maybe I just need to talk to more banks, but I didn't know what your approach was when you talked to them about it, but they didn't seem interested.
Is it possible that they could have met, or they might have misunderstood a home equity line of credit? Because a home equity line of credit, you have to live there because it's your personal home.
That happens all the time. People will say, hey, I need a HELOC, and bankers aren't investor friendly, dude. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Literally type in HELOC or whatever they do, and it just doesn't work. So you have to tell them, hey, I'm looking for a line of credit on an investment property.
Yeah, but some banks say no. I have that experience as well. Some local banks, right? They normally tend to give priority to local investors, and they tend to say no to outsiders because it's difficult to go after.
Yes.
You just got to call more banks, Dana.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Sounds good.
Call more banks.
Kiss more fraud.
So there's no minimum requirement like there is on a HELOC. Line of credit is just line of credit, and it just depends on the bank.
Yeah, I've seen that every bank is different. It's kind of like banks are kind of like restaurants. Like you're gonna get but they're not gonna advertise it. Some banks are looking to sell more auto loans. Some banks make their money on lines of credit. Some banks make their money on whatever. Fill in the blank. It's your job to find what bank cracks what code.
Got it. Okay.
One of the key things that I have found is if I'm calling and I'm like, hey, I'd like to apply for a line of credit. They're like, oh yeah, Brittany will be here on Wednesday on the 15th and it's the 1st. They're probably not going to do it. Don't waste your time. But if they're like, oh yeah, Brittany's here right now, if you want to come in, then they probably have a specialist on site. Those are little key things that you can look for.
Got it.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Go ahead, Oscar. Just raise your guys' hand if you have a question.
So just to confirm, so you said that you essentially, whenever you open up a line of credit on your rental homes, the faster you pay that amount that you owe on that line of credit to be able to gain that equity and for them to lend you more money, the faster, quote unquote, you can basically ask for a higher limit, correct, on that same property.
So that's going to depend on the bank, but every line of credit can only be increased if the property increases in value, and then it's still subject to the bank approving it. But you can ask for an increase.
So whenever you spoke about, the only other thing I wanted to ask is that when you mentioned that you basically have a six-figure, I think you mentioned that you have a line of credit that's worth like a lot of money. Was that going off of that property or multiple properties that you have?
Just one property. So I went completely against the grain. I bought one rental property cash, and that property has bought me a multiple of properties. I've used that one rental property to buy me like 8 more rentals, the same 150,000, because I use it to put down payments, and then I do a wholesale deal or do a flip or something to pay off the line of credit. But that line of credit just keeps buying me rental properties.